Today, we have some exciting news to share about the new impact player rule in IPL 2023. If you're curious to know all the details about this latest edition, you're in the right place. So, let's dive into the details and understand what the impact player rule is all about. The impact player rule states that teams can have one designated impact player in a match. However, there are certain conditions associated with this rule. The impact player can only be an Indian player, unless there are less than 4 overseas players in the playing 11. If a team wants to use an overseas player as an impact player, that player must be part of the 4 substitutes named in the team sheet. In no circumstance can a 5th overseas player take the field as an impact player during the toss. Teams need to pick 4 substitutes along with the playing 11, and only one of them can be used as an impact player. The captain will nominate the impact player for the match. The impact player can be introduced before the start of the innings, after the completion of an over, after the fall of a wicket, or after a batter retires any time during the over. It's important to note that once a player is replaced by an impact player, the replaced player cannot take part in the remainder of the match and is also not permitted to return as a substitute fielder. The BCCI confirms that an impact player cannot act as a captain during the match. An impact player can also come in place of a retired batter, who will be allowed to come back later if needed. Both teams are allowed to use one impact player per match, but it's not compulsory. It's up to the teams whether they want to use the impact player or not. If a player gets injured while fielding mid-over, he cannot take part in the match if the team introduces an impact player to replace him. In case of an injury to the impact player during the match, a substitute fielder is allowed to field in place of the injured player only if the umpires are satisfied. However, the substitute cannot bowl or act as a captain. So, to sum it up, the impact player rule allows teams to have one designated impact player in a match, who can be an Indian player or an overseas player if there are less than 4 overseas players in the playing 11. The impact player can be introduced in various scenarios during the match and can contribute to the team's performance. However, once replaced, the original player cannot take part in the remainder of the match. It's an interesting rule that adds a new dynamic to the game of IPL. If you found this content informative and interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow cricket fans, and subscribe to our channel for more updates and insights.